It is 2:33 a.m. in North Korea. Under the cover of heavy clouds, timed specifically to evade overhead spy satellites, a massive transport truck backs out of a converted mineshaft. The crew begins the slow process of erecting a Hwasong-15 intercontinental ballistic missile into the night sky. At 001 on the operational timeline, the main engine ignites. This 40-foot pillar of steel and fuel blasts upward, generating enough kinetic energy to level several square miles of a densely packed city. By 005, 1,000 miles above the Earth, the U.S. space-based infrared system detects the thermal plume. The signature triggers a flash alert, instantly beaming data down to the white radomes of the 2nd Space Warning Squadron at Buckley Space Force Base. At 0010, an automated library cross-references the rocket's heat signature against decades of test flight data. Before a human analyst can even open a file, the system identifies the weapon as a Hwasong-15. This sequence proves that modern warfare begins at the speed of sensor networks. Machines verify, calculate, and escalate threats before human operators have even fully comprehended that a launch occurred. By 0125, human decision-making begins to buckle. The president is pulled from a meeting and rushed to the Situation Room to address a confirmed nuclear threat that is already exiting the atmosphere. At 02, regional defenses go live, but the raised launch tubes of THAAD batteries in South Korea and Guam are designed for the final descent. Against a climbing ICBM, they provide no protection. By 04, airborne doomsday planes urgently scramble, and deep-sea nuclear ballistic missile submarines begin surfacing in the open ocean, preparing their own payloads for a retaliatory strike. At 0515, ground-based interceptors at Vandenberg are armed and fed targeting data. Even these systems are forced to wait, needing the incoming missile to reach a specific altitude before they can engage. This timeline exposes a structural vulnerability. Military chains of command relying on secure phone calls and human authorization lack the bandwidth to manage a war that reaches the edge of space in under 6 minutes. Zooming out to the broader Indo-Pacific, military planners realized this reaction time deficit threatened the entire U.S. security posture in the region. To survive a battlespace governed by Mach speeds, the military initiated a total institutional overhaul in 2026. The goal was to strip away bureaucratic risk aversion and optimize command for speed. Rebranding the Department of Defense back to the Department of War under Secretary Pete Hegseth signaled a return to the culture of peace through strength. Operationally, the sprawling regional commands were tightened. The expansive Indo-PACOM reverted to the leaner PACOM designation, removing layers of administrative friction. This rebranding goes beyond the aesthetic. It was the structural teardown required to deploy high-speed autonomous systems at scale. The shift was driven by geographic flashpoints across the Pacific, where remote islands have become highly militarized outposts. China executed a strategy of dredging sand to construct these outposts. Aerial imagery shows military airfields and radar stations built directly onto coral reefs in disputed zones like the Spratly Islands. To counter these fortifications without risking human crews, the Department of War prioritized drone dominance, a strategy of utilizing mass-produced, low-cost attack swarms. This led to the Collaborative Combat Aircraft Program. A single human pilot acts as a central command node, wirelessly tethered to a swarm of autonomous drone wingmen that fly ahead to scout, jam signals, or strike. Managing this web is a newly activated AI agent network. These algorithms process targeting data and manage logistics in real time, removing the human bottleneck from the tactical loop. Moving human operators away from the line of fire and handing targeting to localized AI networks addresses the reaction time deficit created by supersonic missile threats. Allied nations are adopting this unmanned pivot. In Taiwan, autonomous robodogs now monitor remote, contested outposts that were previously too dangerous or difficult to garrison. These disparate allied assets are woven into an integrated nervous system through the Pacific Multi-Domain Training and Experimentation Capability, or PMTech. It acts as a readiness engine, linking live and virtual exercises into a unified digital web, ensuring algorithms and operators remain synchronized. This creates a Pacific theater where deterrence relies on space-based sensors, drone swarms, and AI agents locked in a high-speed standoff. In a theater where conflict moves at Mach 20, the traditional tally of human soldiers becomes a secondary metric of power. Advantage belongs to the architecture, a network that perceives, decides, and strikes before a human mind can even register the threat.